if okay, if I get this section, if the question was like V is given, and the question is asking me to give spacing to like 2 rows of nails. Okay, if asking me to give spacing, spacing is not calculated. If the Q, if I need to calculate the Q, I mean through the Q I can calculate the spacing, because spacing is equal to shear the strength of each bolt, which is 15 given, or 15,000, 50,000 over Q. Okay, so Q is equal to V times Q capital over moment of inertia about the neutral axis. Okay, if the V is given and moment of inertia is calculated for the cross section about neutral axis, what is left is the Q. To get this part disconnected, okay, to get this part disconnected, we have to cut it from here to here. Okay, this Q would represent the shear flow for these 2 rows. If it is 2, then it represents 2. If it is 1, if I don't have this row, then it would represent the shear flow for this row only. So if I have only 1 row, I don't need to divide it by 2. It just Q is for this row. If I have a second row, then I need to divide it by 2 so that I calculate the spacing for 1 row only. Okay? If I have like 3 rows, like I have a screw or nails, 3 rows, and this is my third row, okay? So I have these 3, okay? So I have 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, right? I have 3 rows. Then what I get of Q has to be divided by 3, then I can get the spacing. So I Q over 3, then I plug in this Q over 3 into here. I have 15,000 over this Q, which is Q over 3 already divided into. So I get spacing for each row. Okay? So as many as rows you have, then as many as, I mean, if you have quadruple, I mean 4 rows, then you need to divide the Q over 4. If you have 6, you divide it over 6. Okay? Is it clear why we divide the Q over 2 if we have 2 rows of, this is 1 row and this is 1, so we have 2 rows, why we divide it? Is it clear? Okay, it seems to be clear. So if no question, we move to the last question, which would be this one. Okay, so now I think the same thing. Is it asking for what? I cannot see it. Determine the allowable spacing. Is asking for spacing. Maximum spacing. Okay, so now where to take my section? Is there any joint? No joint. Horizontal joint? No. Vertical? Yes, I have. Okay, let me check. I need to add students. Okay. Is there any horizontal joint? Yes. If I cut by my knife, I get my knife, I make a cut. Can I get disconnected? Can I get anything disconnected? No. So I need my mirror, place it. I connect this side. Sorry, getting messy. So I get my knife, I cut this up to here, and I cut this up to here because the mirror would reflect what I have taken of action on this side to the other side. So the same thing will take place to the other side. So when I get these 2 sections, then I will get this part disconnected from the rest of the cross section. Okay, so I get it disconnected. So I calculate this Q. I calculate this Q. So what is I calculate this Q. So what I have of now I calculate this Q. So a shear flow would be equal to V is given times Q. I know which Q and moment of inertia. What is requested is the spacing. So do I need to, if I calculate spacing is equal to shear strength, which is given. I don't know how much is it. 8,000. Okay, 8,000. And this would be Q is calculated based on this equation. Okay, if I calculate this Q, do I need to subdivide this Q or not? I have taken this section and this section, then I got this part disconnected from the rest of the section. So that Q that I have calculated based on this part, how many nails, how many rows of nails are got disconnected by removing this part from the rest of the section, or by disconnecting this part from the rest of the cross section? How many rows of nails got disconnected? 1 or 2 rows? 1 or 2 rows?
Ustaz, agar section içinde bir de duvar yapıyor.
Okay. Hold on. I don't know those students why they come late. Okay, shall I repeat what the section, Deniz?
Valla psiaraka duvar section.
Yeah, Deniz. I want to now to take a section to get one part. I mean, I look at the joint. Do I have vertical? Sorry, do I have horizontal joint? No. Then I look at the vertically. Is there any joint? Yes, I have. I make a cut. Finish. Can I get this part disconnected or this part disconnected? No. So I place a mirror and I take the same, this mirror, in fact, the mirror that I place it halfway from the left, halfway from the right, is just to reflect what I have taken off action to the other side. So I couldn't disconnect anything by taking one section. So I need to take another section. So I take another section, I cut it. Okay, this is my second section. Now I got this part disconnected finally. This is the part that I can get out of the cross section. So this Q, this would be my Q, capital. This would be my moment area, okay? This would be my moment area. And shear flow is equal to V times Q, capital, over moment of inertia about neutral axis. Moment of inertia, you don't need to think about it because it's just need to calculate moment of inertia for this composite shape about its neutral axis. So you can easily calculate this. V is given. So this is based on your section, this Q. So once you got this part disconnected, how many rows of nails are disconnected? How many rows of nails are disconnected? Deniz.
Ustaz, هز دكم دور ريزة لبروي كسيشنكت لو بريدا لبشتوش ريزة كتريش وبريدا كي يعني دور ريز
Yeah.
section ندري.
Yes. So what you get of Q has to be divided by 2. Once it's been divided by 2, that means you have calculated the shear flow for one row only. So once you have calculated the shear flow for one row only, now you get the spacing for one row only. The spacing is equal to shear strength, which is 8,000 Newton, over the shear flow for that row, which is Q over 2. It's already, you divided by 2. So you will get the spacing for this side. Okay, you'll get the spacing for this. Right?
صح.
Yeah.
ما مستوى
Yeah.
يعني ما مستوى كطبعا كير
Yeah.
كيوكا شير فلوكا يكامل يبو دا بەشمان کردبەوەی هیلەیەک بەدەست بێنین دا بەش دوو
yeah. Okay, Yahya, وانا Yahya, sorry.
بەڵێ بەڵێ
Yahya, look, assume that you only have, hold on, let me check if it is possible. Okay, assume that you have only one row of this nail, one row of nails, and then the one row of nails, and it doesn't get through the other side. So that means, let me check if I'm not wrong. If let me think of it. If this my nail and goes all the way to here, just connect from one side only. Okay, it doesn't go through to the other side, just one side. So how many sections do I need? Once I take a section at this side, this will get automatically disconnected, this part. So I get the same Q. I get the same Q. Okay, so V times Q, okay, over moment of inertia equal to Q. So at this, if the example was like this, you have one row only, not two rows. The other side, there is no nails. You only have one nail on one side, and the nail, it doesn't go through the other side. It doesn't go through this joint. Okay, only one. So this Q will not be divided by two. Why? Because this would represent the shear flow for the whole row. This would represent. Because the nail didn't go to the other side. It didn't. If it goes to the other side, you have to divide it by two so that you represent only one side. But since this row didn't go through this piece to the other side, to get it connected to the other side, it's just connecting this side to this side or this side to this piece, then what you get of Q would represent only for this side, for this row. So this Q will not be divided by two, and to get the spacing will be equal to 8,000 over this Q that is not divided by two. This Q that is not divided by two. Why I did not divide it? Because the shear flow will be resisted only by one row of nail. There is no other row to be resisted by. So why do I need to divide it by two? But if the nail goes through to the other side, so now you are having two rows resisting my Q, and that means the whole Q is going to both sides. So to get for one side, I have to divide it by two. So I need to divide in case if the nail goes through to the other side and get this piece connected to both sides by one nail, but the nail is each single nail represent two rows of nails. Let me clear it up. If my nail goes all the way to the other side, now this nail would, as if even this one goes to the other side, this one goes to the other side, the other one goes. So as if this piece is connected by two rows. This is one row, and this is second row. So one on this side and second on the other side. Even though it's one nail, but the nail function is taking the role of two rows of nails. I don't know if this is easy to comprehend or not. Okay, is as if the nail stops here, and this nail stops halfway, I mean, it stops at this place, and this nail stops, it doesn't go through to the other side. So that means it's only connecting this piece to this to the rest of the beam. So at this point, what you get of Q, what you calculate of Q, this shear flow, you don't need to divide it because the shear flow would go through, is resisted by only one row of nail. But if the nail goes beyond that to the other side and get it connected to this piece, then the Q will go through two rows. So for one row has to be divided because each row would take an equal amount of Q. Each row will take an equal amount of Q. no other way to simplify this explanation. That's the only way I have to explain it to you. So if you can get it, okay. If you cannot get it, I have no other ways to explain it to you. كيف قشتي يحيى؟
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
good, welcome. So this would be our last lecture for, for strength. This would be our last lecture. What is left, hopefully tomorrow I can cover centroid and moment of inertia for the regular shapes or the common shapes, and the moment of inertia for a composite shape. And that would be the last I could cover by tomorrow. I hope so. Okay, so let me check what. Let me stop recording. Do you have any question? If you have any question on shear flow, transverse shear stress, what is shear flow? Why we need shear flow? What is the mechanism of calculating shear flow? Why shear flow is important? How shear flow behave within a beam? Why is it longitudinal? Why? I mean, whatever type of question you could ask now. Okay, while I'm recording. If you don't have a question, so that I could stop my recording and talk about, let me pause it.